Hello everyone, my name is Alexandr Korol, I'm a writer. This is the fourth video where I present myself to my readers as an author of books, so you can get to know me better and to direct you on how to get acquainted with my work, with my books, with my website, with my videos that I am currently making. And I want to tell you about the format of my book, about my way of delivering information to people. As I said earlier in previous videos, there are these three parallels in which I write my books. The first world, the first frequency, the rhythm in which I think and create in it is the world of the heart. The rhythm of the heart, that's when I'm with no mind, when I have this feeling of fire burning inside me, as if you are in love. The music becomes volumetric, everything looks so beautiful. It feels great when you're walking down the street, an hour before sunset, when the sun has almost set but there is still light and shadows. I'm a creative person. I like to walk around with a photo camera, take pictures of people. I like making a kind of artistic photography. It's like a medicine for my heart. I used to say it is a nourishment for my heart. And in this state, I like to make music playlists and make certain selections of music. I also like to wear something in a way that will nourish this spark in me even more, this frequency of creativity. Yes, it's a world of creativity. And it's a separate world. It's a separate me, separate me. There are many of me, and there is one me who lives with his heart and without. And this kind of me has been keeping a diary since 2006, and when I'm in this state, in a creative, inspired state, I write down in my phone, or in my laptop, or in a notepad, what I feel, what I encounter with, what I'm experiencing. And there is no more emphasis on some super smart information for your mind, but more it's like a transfer of my feelings. That is, I record the feeling, the inspiration that I experienced. I try to record it in my book. And so I've been working on a book since 2006, and now in 2023 I've collected all these materials and published a book. And it's called The Three Paradoxes of a Creative Person. Why the three paradoxes? Because the book consists of 3 books. That is, I didn't have the patience to complete and publish the book in its entirety. And at some point I had to say to myself, stop. And this is the first part. That is, I'm publishing it. It's going to be called Paradox. And when I published the first part, then I continued to keep the diary. Therefore, the second part of my book was written. This is Paradox 2. And then I realized that quite a lot of material needs to be published because I will not finish writing this diary anytime soon. I stopped, published the second part, and this year I was working on the third part of the book Paradox. And when I finished it, I realized that all these 3 parts are one book. This is a book that I've been writing since 2006, and this is my diary. This is the frequency of the heart. This is this creative world where I share all the feelings, emotions, and a real creative person with a spark feelings. And what does it even mean to live with a heart, right? And it's all about feelings. So the chapters, they are very specific. Pages and chapter numbering is incorrect. There are chapters that are repeated. There is information that is repeated many times. There are a lot of different mistakes. It may be that I am just writing some kind of gibberish, and this is a whole separate chapter in this book. But when a person reads this, he experiences incredible feelings. That is, it is a book of feelings, and it is a separate world. I call it frequency of the heart. You see, it's the same as... How should I explain it? The heart is he, an art. That's an artist, and that's creativity. And I call it the world of magic, the world of paradoxes. Because it's only when you live with your heart and not with your mind that you encounter these wonders seriously. People, when they start reading this book, they feel the same when they felt when they were children, when you fall in love with someone, as if everything is blooming around you. That's what a person feels when he reads a book that is written by the heart. This is the frequency of the heart. This is the frequency of creativity. And this book is 3 paradoxes of a creative person. In the book, I explain that those people who live this way and see the world this way, they are creative people. And these people, they are looking for themselves. They cannot find a place for themselves. And in this book, I'm trying to explain to a person that his world, his home, where he will find himself, is creativity. You were born as such a sensitive person. And if you see the world in such an unusual way as others do not, then you should just express it through creativity. And then you will be happy. And then you will be in your place. I have defined myself, and I have chosen such a direction, such a path as writing. And I am happy that the way I see the world, others don't see. I will be able to express it and publish it all. Well, let's put it this way, express it through my books. And it's great that there are like-minded people who also see this, agree with this, and this warms my heart. And there is such a world. This is world of frequency of the heart. And that's where I am. That's how I am in life. And that's how I am in the paradox books. And a lot of people like me, they like this book, The 3 Paradoxes of a Creative Person. And many people who got to know me through this book, they were surprised, shocked, or upset when I became different. And everyone didn't understand what happened. So Alex, the magic boy who writes about magic in his books, suddenly became so material and tough. How can this be? And what happened? There is another opposite world. The opposite of the world of the heart is the world of the mind. This is where you live according to a schedule, where you are disciplined, you live in a structured way, where you are friends with time and space. You're punctual and concise, and everything is in order there. And there is this side of me. I am still first and foremost a boy. Yes, and I encountered everyday life, and I originally was a creative person, and I lived with my heart. And it was an enormous stress for me to go to the notary, or to the tax office, or to the bank, or to pay my rent, because I didn't even know what to say, what to do. I didn't understand these papers, and it was all very difficult for me, seriously. My head was in the clouds. I was originally a creative person with my head in the clouds. But I understood that this was extreme, that I needed to learn to be disciplined. And I needed to learn how to adapt to the material society, to the material world. And I forced myself to sink into this rough rhythm. For me, it seemed tough initially, because I'm creative and it's like an opposite rhythm, as if it destroys me. And I devoted many years of my life to the material rhythm, the world of the mind. And I devoted my mind, adapted to this socio-material world, gained experience, and of course I began to share all my knowledge, discoveries, observations, life hacks in my books. I wrote a huge number of books about different people, about different social strata. I have written books about why there are evil and good people and why people deceive each other. I have written about how these worlds work in general. This is the book titled Frequencies. I've written about how this world of people works in general. That is, everything is built on attention, that there is such a separate topic of attention control. And I have tried with my mind. That is, you can't explain it all with your feelings, but I try to explain everything that I feel with my mind. I explain and describe this whole world in my treatises, through my observations in my books, which I share on my website, And in social networks, I introduce people to this opposite, different, rough rhythm. It's the world of the mind. It's the material world. And there is such an Alexandr Korol. That is, there is such a me. This is another separate parallel world. And people, readers, who were faced with the fact that I was this way, then I was that way, that I have one kind of books, then another kind of books, books written with my heart, then with my mind, people did not understand what I was and where I was real, or it was not clear whether I was still a naive and light creative boy, or I was a super analytical man who thinks through every step and knows everything with his mind, and he is a genius. And no one could understand who I was, but I was both this and that. But the whole point is that I'm a writer, I'm an author, but I let people see the world we live in. I see it in such a multifaceted way, and I'm just showing different angles. And it's true that there are many people who live all their lives in the angle of the heart and see the world magically. And there are people who see everything in numbers and mathematics and adjust everything to a stereotype framework. And these are people who live by their mind. There are fairy tales about this. For example, The Little Prince, which shows collisions of the two worlds. And these two worlds are the world of the heart and the world of the mind. That is, the world of the mathematics. And so I wrote books in different parallels. But beyond all this, there is also the third world. And my inspiration, mood, state in which I was while I worked on the novel Alternative History. It's not the world of the heart. It's not the world of the mind. It's something combined. Since my childhood, I didn't understand what it was, but it was as if my thoughts were disappearing. But at the same time, it was as if something was entering me, and I was in some kind of a flow, like information is going through me. And I never knew how to call it, and I didn't have words to describe it. And imagine when I was just finishing work on my first volume, The Alternative History, I realized that this is the state in which I wrote this novel. That spirit entered me, that I was just in spirit. And since my childhood, every time when I got into the state of the spirit, I wrote this novel. And it's written, you see, in another kind of state. And now, there are three of me. There are already three of me. So for many people, for many readers, there may be a certain inconsistency, just as you may encounter in certain contradiction when you read my books. That in the books that are written with the heart, I say one thing, and in the books that are written with the mind, there will be a complete opposite concept. And this is true because these are different worlds, parallel worlds. And it turns out that in the books that are of the world of the mind, there I am strict, ordered. I directly say, if you behave badly, life will punish you. And everyone says he's angry. And then same people read my books written with the heart and write reviews and comments about how they were inspired by my books and how they love me and are grateful to me. And then they write that they don't understand how it is, that why I am this way and that way. And these are just different worlds. These are different worlds. And the dynamics, switching from rhythm to rhythm, helps me to stay aware, helps me to feel where I am, where these worlds are. And this is something incredible. And now, summarizing the results of 2023, I want to open the eyes of my readers to the fact that there are three different directions, three different genres, formats, three different personalities of mine, for you to have a certain understanding where and what type of me there is. I am heart, I am the mind, and I am the spirit. On my website, I have also schematically depicted a triangle, and I will try in the future to sort all my books, drafted or published, and also videos into a category, that is, an angle. For example, I wrote a book and I can say to you guys, this is a book written in frequency of the heart. For those of you who want to get inspired and be a creative person and not lose their creativity, this is for you. Those who want to be super focused, collected, and educated and succeed in the socio-material world and somehow connect more with this socio-material world, these are the books of frequency of the mind. Those who want to connect, as many people who draw ideas for films and scripts, music connected to the cosmos, then this is the spirit, and you can also connect with it. Later on, I will make videos on this topic, and when I write more books, I will sort them by category. What is what? And this video belongs to the category where I am just a writer. It's my neutral position, where I'm the author, an ordinary person who is being creative. And then if I make videos dedicated to the frequency of the heart, then it will be separate videos where I'm going to be very weird, but with no mind, on creative frequency. If I make videos where I explain something, reason and prove something in a seriously structured way, then it means it is the frequency of the mind. If I suddenly decided to tell a story where I am working on the third volume of my novel Alternative History, and this is the frequency of the spirit, then I will be completely different. There I will play a role of the main character, the character that is in this novel. And there, of course, I will be different from that first Alex, from that second Alex, because I will be the third Alex. Please don't be confused. It may be difficult that I present you with a kind of a triple-core processor, but this is how I live, and this is how I see the world. Thank you all.